Hello, hello, hello. All right. MJ here. This is going to be for Aquarius. It's going to be for the days of the 22nd through the 26th. We'll take a quick glimpse at the full moon on the 27th. Won't really get into that until Monday. Um, yeah. Let me look at something here real quick. Like, um, just want to look at something real quick. Yep. All right, that full moon will be on a Monday, which is ruled by the moon. So, ooh, excuse me. That is going to be a really uh, crazy, crazy emotional day. Um, because what's going on now is going to lead up to that full moon, where we begin to realize some things, and we become our mind becomes aware of certain things. Um, but we'll talk about that more starting uh, on Sunday when I start doing them on Sunday, or try and get them out before Sunday, the videos. Um, don't get too upset, Aquarius, that haven't got your cards out, but I will put them out. Let me get these astrologies done real quick for this few days. Update everybody so I can kind of get back in the swing of it, and then I'll go ahead and get you for the rest of the month. And we'll start with you, okay, when I go there. So let's go ahead and switch over um, to the wheel. Oh, here we go. 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 Um, the 22nd here is kind of sort of like an auspicious day. It's where the sun is going to be departing Scorpio. There will not be so much of an emphasis of for you the 10th house, um, because now you're going to go. It's going to be going into today. It will be going into Sagittarius, which will be your 11th house, which has to deal with relationships with others. This could be in your friends groups, your goals, your aspirations, your wishes, uh, your teams or social groups, society, social media, um, your hopes, your humanitarianism, uh, collaborations, organizations, technology, and fellowship with others. You may be changing some things here, or you could be looking at uh, society in itself in all forms, along with whatever wishes and goals. Whatever wishes and goals you may have. Sorry about that. Um, so the 11th house is more of a house of it's a succeedant house. This is where you look toward resources, where it requires resources and stability. You know, how is this a stable house? It is Sagittarius, which Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. So you're reassessing with Jupiter being in your fourth house of home. Um, it's maybe where there is we're talking about a mutable sign versus a fixed sign. We're talking about a fire sign, a fire element compared to an earth element. Fire and earth doesn't mix. There may be some things you just don't allow to come into your home from out in society. Um, it could be having somewhat um, sort of an impact, um, passionately, um, in your home. Um, it could be disrupting the stability as well, because I said the 11th house is about stability and resources. And it could be, a burning up of resources. The home could be, taking the resources away, or it could be something where you're having to, or others are having to adapt to something of your fourth house, which deals with the psyche. And that fourth house is where you have to take some kind of dramatic action toward. It's an angular house, fourth house is. So there's something here with these two combined that is affecting something, and you're maybe becoming awakened to something. Or people around you, not you, but necessarily, but you may be their awakening, or the wokeness, or where you're awakening something here mentally focused, that somehow there has to be some adaptability here. Be cautious, I would say, because whatever you've been going through with the sun and all that, that's been through Scorpio, during that time that we had Scorpio seasons, because now we're going into Sagittarius season. This will be right before the middle part of fall. And there was something about that about it I wanted to touch on, but I just can't remember it right off the top of my head right now. It's kind of just eluding me about it. But anyway, so you're going to look at, can you meet whatever is there and at the 11th house? This thing is driving me crazy about this cord that I can't seem to get away. Hold on one second. Hopefully that works. Drive me nuts. Okay, then we have your there's nothing really in the first house. Saturn rules that, and Saturn and Uranus. But Uranus is sitting over in your fourth house, and Saturn's sitting in your second house. So again, this has to deal with the material things, as well as the reality of things. Because your second house deals with your assets, your finances, your self-worth, talent, skills, wealth, income, personal security, investments, luxury, material possessions, desire, money we earn, movable possessions. And also your fourth house has to do with land, home, family, feelings, endings, traditions, ancestors, inner world, real estate, emotions, roots, private life, past, foundation, the afterlife, and a parent, which is usually the fourth house deals with the mother, or the father, whichever is more nurturing, or whoever. So we're having this going on because there's nothing going on in your first house, because the planets that rule it are in the other houses. So there is a big attention paid to the second and the fourth house, as well as the third house, which is dealing with the mind, the ability to think, writing, siblings, short trips, neighbors, information, transportation, communication, cousins, debates, intellect, learning, early education, and ideals. And that third house has to deal with preparations and adjustments. And we do have an opposition in that area to your ninth house. which deals with foreign travels, wisdom, teaching, universities, vision, study abroad, law, spirituality, guru, religion, morals, exploring faith, broadcasting, philosophy, prophetic dreams, science, culture, beliefs, and ethics. So there's something here definitely that needs sort of healing in that ninth house. That's going on because Chiron is, you could be communicating about your philosophies, your beliefs, all these things, and the other on the opposite end of that is trying to find that balance in something here. With Chiron being in opposition exactly with Venus, the planet of joy, love, excuse me, beauty, adorn things. But it's also with Venus, it's mostly about the capacity to love and your values. Could be about your attitudes toward those things and the needs in love. The house, which is particularly the ninth, is what your philosophy is or what your values are, what you believe. It's what you value most and attract to yourself. It's refinement. Money gains or losses can happen with this house. So with Venus being there, you've got to be cautious about spending money here. Maybe you got to look back at the past because the South Node being there, that there is something here where you have to do maybe some financial healing. You might have to discuss things about we can't spend this, we can't spend that. Because I know times are difficult right now. You know, can't be extravagant. You just can't buy things out of whim. And this is kind of that auspicious day that goes between what you believe and with the quincunx from the moon and Neptune, which is exactly 24, that is a divine governing entity that says there's something with the past here, your past actions, because that's what the South Node is. It's about the past of maybe how you spent money or what you were spending it on. There has to be some fine adjustments made here with the ninth house. And you can't do something without making preparations and adjusting for those things. Because can you afford it? There's a limit here. And I see with Saturn, there's a square where now you're beginning to focus on something here with Mars. So like I said, this is a real day that we awaken to where we have been thinking and what we've been doing and why we've been doing it and how is created karma. A lot of times we create our own karma here. And that's what the 12th house is, where Pluto's sitting at. You can see it. I've lost my, there it is. You can see it where Pluto's sitting at and what its aspects are to the South Node and the future. So if you've created karma, because the 12th house is karma, and you better get prepared, better make some kind of adjustments and preparations here, because whatever you're trying to, squares are all about stumbling blocks or building blocks. And it's up to you how you handle the squares. It shows what you're like on the inside. And you've been going through a big transformation because karma, or Pluto, has been in that house of karma because of your results of your past actions. This could be hidden support and limits, institutes and inner social conflicts you've had with others. We're talking about the 11th house. You know, earth and fire doesn't mix. You know, Have you, done some things to others, or someone done something here, but they created karma? I don't see anything in your seventh and your eighth house, but that doesn't mean it wasn't there at one time, but it was during that past when all this was going through, from Leo in your seventh house to your eighth house of shared resources. And now you're becoming aware of something, that these past acts, because Mars is the sign of action. It's a planet of action, going after something aggressively here. And with this moon, along with Neptune, it's really affecting things. And throughout the day, you're going to be focusing on things here. Starts this morning at this is Wednesday, ruled by Mercury. So that Mercury's in charge of something here, and it is in a square with Saturn, and this is the hour of Saturn at 11:32 now. It's going to be something else going on here, but first thing this morning, it was something about limits and restrictions, something not moving forward. Something you maybe desired to really do, but there's no action to it because the sun is at 0, and because it went into Sagittarius, and Saturn's at 0. So it's only when a planet goes a degree that it kicks in. That energy kicks in. And so this is sort of a challenge, a square. You want to do something. You want to build something. You want to go after something here, but you can't. Because I'm really feeling like, with these double sextiles to Mars and the sun here, and the moon and Neptune, it's really, and this energy in between, fire and air. You want something to be really, really stable here. You're working on probably some stuff of reality that maybe you weren't aware of. The 10th house is all of that, of your career, your reputation, your professional achievements, moral conduct as well, your direction, your life goals, prestige and position. And that, like I said, that second house has to do with a lot with heredity, and money, what you inherit by what you work, your values, feelings, self-worth, talent, social privileges and cultural background, possessions, security, earning ability, which deals with money, and what you believe you're worth. Because Pisces is that of what we believe. What our value is. But there's something here, like I said, that's really dealing with what's going on when it comes to this energy right here that's connecting. There's a joint thing here. When planets join together and they come into a conjunction, it's a spontaneous activity, and it kind of sets things in motion. It's intensity when you got two planets that come together like this, and you have a strengthening or a canceling something here. And when you've got sextiles, it shows opportunity for productivity and success, but you got to activate what is it you have to activate to get that success? And you must activate it for it to work. What is it that we have to activate? Of course, it is the mind, the communication, the thinking, the thoughts, But your thoughts right now with Mercury being in um, Sagittarius, which it rules Virgo and it rules Gemini, uh, and it's okay, it's good, it's kind of in a detriment here because it works in air because of the thoughts that come in or things you express. You get ideals from out of kind of like nowhere, and then you analyze. Is this what I'm gonna do? You get very logical. Work through it. And with it over in Sagittarius, maybe there's something here where you have to get with others that can support you and help you expand or educate you about some things here that maybe you don't know. Um, so, I'm seeing things that just, there's got to be some improvements going on here. There's got to be work. Then at 9:29, we went to, oh, I keep getting change the cursor back. We got the moon in Pisces, and it's sextiling, like I said before, with Neptune here. Then by 10:09, the moon again in Pisces is in a trine with Mars. This energy is like you can get so comfortable in something here emotionally, in a vision or a goal or something here, that you can miss something. So keep your mind alert. Think before you act. This is the big thing with Mars. You can be so quick at doing something because you want to get it done, and you got this feeling of urgency. You got to do this. You got to do that. You may miss something here, or you could have an accident here. So really be careful on what you're doing here. Pay attention. Focus on what you're doing and the direction you want to go here. Now we go into where this goes into Venus at 11:44. Where Venus in Libra is in opposition to Chiron retrograde in Aries. And they're both at 15:58 degrees. That's 58 minutes in, 15 degrees. So there's something here that you are in this opposition that you need to be aware of. It's an awareness or an objectivity, looking at something. As you can see, there's distance here. There's 180 degrees difference here. So you're only getting or seeing part of something that you may be missing. Because remember, what is below this horizon is what can't be seen. Up here is what can be seen. So you may miss something here that you should be paying attention to. Especially with spending. I will say that. Don't treat money as though it just comes out of the air. That it's just going to always be there. There's something here you really need to really focus on and pay attention to. If you feel it, whatever your intuition's telling you as well, you may need to pay attention to that as well. Just don't go along with it. Just don't go along with the flow of everything. Let's see. And then we got the moon will ingress into Aries at 12:20. So expect your feelings or your emotions to change. They're going to intensify. Because we're talking about the moon going into Aries, and what rules Aries is Mars. So the moon doesn't do good really, and it can be really aggressive or passionate. So be cautious of responding really irrational or really quickly at something. because you could either, like I said, hurt yourself or somebody else, or you need to pay attention to what is going on. Don't react to things the way you did maybe in the past, because you've been dealing with karma here. You need to change something. Change the way you do things from the past and now to the future. Pluto has been in, it's been in Capricorn since, I think, was it 2013 or 2008 was when it first entered, somewhere in there. I don't have the exact time, but I know it was at least many years back, 10 years or 13 years back, maybe a little longer. But it's going to depart from there. But it's really trying to get you, is squaring the north and the south node. Now, it stopped for a while, about a week or so back. It broke, but now the connection there broke, but now it's back again. So this is still bringing up something here that apparently from the past that's coming back, and it's going to affect your future, how you react to it. You can, like I said, you can either create karma here, good or bad. Depends on how you deal with it. And it shows what you're like on the inside, to how you handle a situation. Later on this evening, around 10:30 Eastern Standard Time, again, we're looking at now, not only did we have the quincunx here, it was with Neptune here in retrograde, which that will go direct next month, but we have now a quincunx from Mercury over to Uranus, which is something that suddenly comes up. That with anytime you see planets that are retrograde, I like to say embrace the retrogrades, because it gives you an opportunity to go back and reassess something that came up out of nowhere. Maybe it's coming back up now, and you've got to deal with it. You've got to make some sort of adjustment. And this is going to involve you having the courage to make a decision. The mind, remember, Mercury's mind, it makes decisions. It comes up, maybe something has suddenly changed, a thought, an ideal. Maybe you did something here. Because Uranus is the shaker-upper. And you might be trying to think, or you've got some kind of radical ideal or something that comes out of nowhere, but you're going to have to make this decision. And have the courage to make that decision. All right. Now we're going to discuss the 23rd and what the energies are going to be for that day. We start out the morning, it's really, really early. It's like 4:46, 4:45 on the Eastern Standard Time on the East Coast. This is before the sun comes up. The sun is now, like I said, in Sagittarius. It went there yesterday, and it's squaring Saturn in Pisces. We talked about that. It's the combination of the energy of Mars and the sun. And this is going to be the early morning hours. Remember what makes a day. I want to tell you what makes a day is when the sun rises that morning, wherever you are. That begins the day, and it will run all the way 24 hours till that sun comes up the next morning. So even though it's after midnight, and most people would say, well, that's Thursday morning, early morning Thursday hours. No, it's just the night. The day makes up the sun, is when the sun comes up. That begins to start the day. And what we have here is still in the day being ruled by Mercury, but the nighttime's being ruled by the sun. And at this time in the morning, Mercury, the 22nd hour, because remember there's 24 hours in a day, you can't say, after midnight, well, no, it goes all the way to the next day. So Mercury's ruling the day, the sun rules the night, and the hour is being ruled by Mercury, and it's at 22 hours in. So we still, you still have 2 more hours here before the sun comes up, which would be almost 7 o'clock by the time the sun comes up. But we had the sun, like I said, in a square, but the energy is combined here with Mars. Mars is coming closer and closer. It is hanging so close and chasing after the sun. It's like it's feeding off that energy of the sun. It's being in control. It's being aggressive, vitality as well too. But then there's something here that's saying, it was explained to me one time that Jupiter's like the gas and Saturn's like the brake. Something is still saying here you need to kind of slow down, because things aren't going to move at the rate you want it to move. So if it's not going as fast as you want it to go, and the vehicle's not going as fast as you want it to go, then you need to just slow down and just go with kind of the flow of the traffic. Just take it easy and sit back, and just kind of look at things and look at what your goals are, what you wish for, what are you striving to accomplish here. I mean, it's analogy I have on this is kind of like I'm driving down the road, and all of a sudden this car comes flying by me, right, in a hurry, cutting in and out of traffic and all this. I've seen people do this all the time. And then all of a sudden, a red light comes and the person has to stop. So here I come up, a car or two behind or beside them or whatever, and it's like all that fast action they were doing, guess what? They're still sitting at the light, and here I come along, and I'm just going with the flow. So does it really pay to go as fast as you can and maybe create some accident, or you miss something, or you do something here that causes some sort of detriment to yourself? Just go with the flow right now. Don't try to rush anything, especially when this moon is sitting in Aries. Even though emotionally you want to go, because this is a time with the moon being connected with Chiron, that there's something here you need to work on, something about yourself and healing something with yourself emotionally. Because that energy is, Chiron's known as the wounded warrior. It's sort of a healing. It's health. It's something that's not a very healthy emotion. Because the rest of the day is definitely going to be spent with the moon. And we see here where the moon does finally, it goes into conjunction. It is there using that energy. There's something here that needs to work on healing. Something is here emotionally is unhealthy. It's the drive, the energy, the aggression, or something. Because your emotions are getting kind of all fired up, because what is the opposite of this? Has to deal with an air sign. Venus, feminine energy, also joy, happiness. Either something you're doing is disrupting someone else's peace and harmony that may cause an issue. There's something here that's not healthy, and it can set, let's put it this way. You got a fire going, right? We're looking at Aries. You got a fire going here, right? Flames. It's just an idea or a flicker or whatever, something here that you're thinking about, you're really focused on here, that's fire too. You're trying to take a charge, a lead of something here because it's Aries, it's a cardinal sign, this is a mutable sign. So something here that, is kind of like being ignited, or you're igniting it. But then when it gets with this air, what happens when air gets to a fire? What does it do? It's like a blaze. It's like if you took a thing of gasoline and poured it on a fire, what does it do? It just blows up. So you need something here to really be very cautious, handle things in a graceful way, show grace to whatever's going on over here that's opposite, because you may see something here and you may interpret it all wrong. So you better be careful, because whatever over here can set you really on fire. Maybe what someone's thinking here, they may be focused on something and it sets things to going. I've already talked about the opposition here. Now it's a double, because now, excuse me, something here, you may see that someone over here is not in the right frame of mind. Something here is very unhealthy. And you could say something and be insensitive to someone else, and it creates a problem. There could be some arguments, I will say that. Because like I said, this whole day deals with nothing but the sun being focused early in the morning, and then boom, boom, boom. It's all emotions. It's all about the moon and what you're feeling. And again, whatever's going on here with Mercury and this trine, there's something here with what you feel going out to Mercury. Could be somebody doesn't see maybe your point of view, and you may have not meant something the way it came out, but because remember, not only is Mercury the mind and the thought, and it's language, it's communication. It's how you communicate. If you're in an aggressive way, then guess what? There's going to be some kind of fire get started here, or some kind of dispute that can happen because of the emotions being, you just don't see eye to eye on something here. Because all of this opposition that's going on here. This person is totally maybe opposed or something here of your philosophy, your ideals, or whatever it may be. But during these times right now, and through this transformation and what's happening, because we're all going through a transformation. All of our, probably past dreams, visions, or whatever that's going on. Goals we had. Maybe changes. Going through it myself. So, we got to be kind of cautious here. All right, let's take a quick look at the 24th, which will be Friday. I'm sorry, I was looking at something else there for a minute. The 24th, I'm sorry, deals with yeah, it is Friday. But part of it, the early morning part, is dealing with Jupiter still, which is retrograde, reassessing something here. most of the day I see, let's see, we got Mercury and Mars, and then we got a few hours of about 7 hours of emotional things. Oh, wait a minute, a little bit longer than that. Yeah, about 8 hours of something here where there could be a lot of challenging with the emotions. Um, because you wake up to Mercury here in Sagittarius, kind of adaptable, mutable, you know, adjustment. This is where we kind of wake up and we are, after the holiday and the festivities and all that kind of stuff. And then we're looking at things like, oh God, whatever it was. And we kind of adapt to something here. Now, this begins, I just want to go back for 1 minute here. Yeah, that's what I thought. We have a T-square that's going on. And this has to do with the South Node and the Moon and what is going on here with Pluto, the transformation. Something here has to change. And sextiles again. This is where, again, something here, the activation of Mercury, the mind, the thinking, the attitude, the mental attitude being activated. You can have success, you can be very productive this day, but you've got to activate it. The problem with what's going on here, there could be something where, I would say with this, a lot of us are having, I know a lot of us, and I want to say this again, I've said it before, a lot of us have been having some sort of awakening, and while we've been going through this awakening period, not woke, but awakening period, we're having sleep disorders. A lot of people are going through sleep disorders right now. Where the mind just, you ever got where your mind just works and works and works and works, and you just shut up for a while, it's always activated. And so this, I feel like what we got going on here is where something you're feeling about the future, but yet dealing with something from the past as well. And how you want to have some kind of change here. Or changing past actions. But I feel like with today, with this day, like I said, it's going to be, around 5:15 this morning, or that morning, we still have that T-square going on. It's the connection, the opposition of now the moon in conjunct with the North Node. You feel some way about the future. But there's something here that there's an opposition, that your awareness and your conscious is facing something in relationship, bringing something out to the light, or something, or some frustration that has to deal with the past. And we have over here in the house of karma, I mean, this is sort of that with Tesla had the thing with the third, the sixth, the ninth, and 12th house. And it was sort of a formula of some way to deal with things. I can't remember exactly how it goes, but it's also having to deal with something. Let me just forget about that for a minute. But I don't know, when I saw those numbers 3, 6, 3, 9, and 12, it's not exactly, something here's off. I just feel like something's changing. Something has got to change. Because I feel like you're going into a situation here, and this is where things get kind of sticky. Because the next, like I said, from 6:02 in the morning, which it begins right here, and it starts with this T square, it's still there. I want to show you that. It's still there. But for the rest of the day from 6:02 on the East Coast time, you have to adjust your time to this, till right at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So this is like an 8-hour time or something, 8 and 9 hour time of the day is spent feeling something here. And I feel like it really has a lot to do with the divine that's trying to get you to change something that is unhealthy, that's sort of aggressive. If you're trying to push others to get something done, it's not a good thing to do. If you're putting off the responsibility to somebody else, that's not a good thing to do. The best thing to do is what I'm seeing right now, especially with Mercury and these sextiles over to this energy to the south, you're thinking about something here. A philosophy, a belief, because we're talking about the ninth house here. And this is a higher mind, intellectual framework for the expanded consciousness in the higher mind. Philosophy, religion, teaching, or higher education. It's mutable. But it's usually what sits there is Sagittarius. But what's this for you is air. The higher consciousness. I don't know if you're trying to make somebody aware of something here, and it ain't working, or they're taking it as an insult. But there's something definitely here about something unhealthy. And we have this combined energy of the sun and Mars, with squares to Saturn. Rulership. It's almost like if you put two women in the same house, two women can't live in the same house. Well, some can, but you can't take a person who had their own house and ruled their own house or ran their own house and turn around and they move it with another person that has their own house. They can't come in and just start taking over. But there's something here that just, with these quincunxes, that something here has got to change. Because this is a quincunx with Mercury. You're thinking something here has got to change. There's got to be some kind of adjustment. And it involves having the courage to make a decision. Same thing with Neptune here. To the south node, something about the past. Somebody's past dreams, past visions, past goals, whatever they were inspired or they were devoted to, or they thought, I just got to ask this question. Who's dealing with somebody that's not mentally stable? Because I think there is something here. Somebody just emotionally is not in the right place. Because we got this moon now squaring, and we still got the T square going on. I mean, this is probably one of the roughest days that there will be Friday. Very intense, because the moon's going to be in Gemini. It will be on a Monday. The moon rules that day, so it is going to be an intense full moon. Very intense full moon on the 27th. And we are only 3 days off from that. So I feel like the intensity's revving up. That a cycle here has got to end. And we see that the moon is exactly in the same degrees, 28 degrees, 22 minutes with Pluto here in a square opposite the South Node. Something in the past actions have got to change here. Now, I don't know what you're dealing with, but I got a feeling you're dealing with somebody that is having some emotional issues, and they need to get it together. Either you or them, because something here is not healthy for the future. And from what I'm seeing, it's going to affect the home life. It already is. Because you've got 3 lines of quincunx here. First, we got the moon now in a quincunx over to Mars. You know, we had it with Neptune to the South Node. We had it now with Uranus, Mercury to Uranus. Kind of make a crisscross there, and right there in the middle of it has to deal, right where those intersections meet. Seems like it's all for close. Something here's got to change. A cycle's got to end. I mean, I'm getting words popping up in my head that I just don't want to say. The moon then moves into it ingresses into Taurus, where in this place it feels exalted, but it still has that energy connected to it for the future, what you feel about the future, but then also is now connecting with Jupiter. That is retrograde. So there's reassessing something here of moving forward because Jupiter is all about expansion and growth and rewards. And if there's not this change, and we also have Venus conjuncting with the South Node. And whoever this is over here, on whatever is going on over here in your 9th house, in your philosophies, your beliefs, your higher mind, or something here, there could be a clash going on here. Somebody's ideals or thoughts about the past and what they're bringing into the future and how they're working through that. If they're trying to expand on something, it's like, can it really be affordable? Can it be done? And in today's society, I'd say no. We're not living in the same times. And again, we still got the T-square going on there. This is going to go on all the way, like I said, up until the evening. I don't know what you're dealing with here, but it finally breaks around right before 5 o'clock. So I would say about the time you're getting off from work, it's like whatever this challenges or blockages are, something emotionally that's unhealthy, or whatever's going on here, it's like I mean, it's not been a good day. I just do not see this as a good day on Friday. And then the last thing we do here at 7:45 is look, boom, these switch, boom, boom, to the moon. Let's go back to that 1 minute and look at it, see where it switched from. Wait a minute. I think I'm hitting the wrong one. We see that it's on Neptune right here. I think that's the one that moved. No, it's with those two. It kind of just spread it out. But look at the quincunxes that are there now. It's the moon to the sun, or sun to the moon. Yeah, the sun to the moon. Something that's being illuminated, awareness. And now Mars has moved into Saturn as well during this day. That was earlier. I started the day off it moved. I mean, like I said, it's right on the suns. It's really hanging in there. It's like control. It's like, sun is usually often referred to as a ruler. If you was doing something of a country, you would look at who is ruling the country, who is, who's in charge, the direction they want to take something. But it's like rulership. And so I feel like there's something here where there's sort of an old change of guard here. I say it's old to the young. We do have a yod that starts on this day. Now this yods are like the finger of God that tells us you can stay in this bondage or you can choose freedom. You can be a slave to something, to your past or to the karma or whatever, or you can choose to break free and have freedom. But somebody's struggling with something here. Somebody's issues from the past, they created karma. And they're dealing with it. And they're reliving it in their head over and over again. They're trying to survive it. They're trying to deal with it. Maybe trying to adapt. And trying to maybe see how they can bring something, make a decision to do something here. But I don't know if it's negative thinking or what it is that's creating all this. But it's like, you got to end something here. Because it's not healthy. I'm just going to tell you, it's just not healthy here, what I'm seeing. And this yod is going to start up on the 25th. Will be kind of like I don't want to say an easy day, but it's sort of not. A lot of the energy is going to be carried over into this day, because what's going to happen on the 26th, the final here, is going to really, it is going to set things off, which will be on a Sunday. Okay. Now we're on the 25th. It's after midnight. It's 1:16 or 1:15 in the morning. So this is after midnight. And we still have that yod going on. And we've got the moon, again, exalted in Taurus. Mercury in detriment. When a planet's in detriment, it means It is, um, um, gosh, where's my head at? It's opposites its ruling sign, its rulership. So Mercury rules Gemini, and so it's kind of in detriment because it's over here in where there's this sort of, I don't want to say negative thinking, but it's almost like that energy of I'm just trying to survive whatever's going on and mentally. There could be so much stuff that is not going on that's very good, and I really feel like you're dealing with somebody that is weak, negative, or they have repressed communications, negative communications. Um, they just they kind of just, I want to say, gotten themselves into something they can't get themselves out of. They can't be. It's like being put in a box or being chained to something, and you just can't get out of it. You don't want it. You don't want to be there. You want freedom, but it's almost like that Braveheart thing, freedom, and they're just screaming to the top of their lungs, but yet they can't. They're repressing it. And I don't even know if they even got, if there's courage here to make a decision about something here. Um, but I know that Venus is connected with that South Node. Somebody's paying for some kind of something going on here. I don't know if it's groups or people maybe downplaying somebody's reputation, or um, gossip, rumors, or whatever there it may could be. Um, Maybe even talking about somebody's belief systems. I just don't know. Um, all I know is that this energy, come on, the energy here with I'm sorry, Venus to Mercury. Venus is trying to communicate. Uh, some feminine energy. Venus is known as being very feminine. We all have masculine, feminine in us. Some people are more masculine and some people are more feminine. Well, I don't care whether you're male or female. But this feminine energy or this Venus energy is trying to, Mercury's trying to communicate with Venus. Uh, Somebody here may be trying to communicate uh, or trying to get through in some way. They're trying to initiate maybe some thoughts, or trying to get somebody, activating somebody's mental attitude that they need to change it for the best. You're creating nothing but bad juju is sometimes what it's called, and all of this is focused right over here to Uranus. So whatever is bringing, it's these radical changes that have happened, maybe from the past, because it is retrograde. So you're reassessing. There's some reassessment here of some radical changes that now have to be dealt with, and they have to be sorted out, and they have to be communication or thoughts or ideals. But the yod is still here. It's still there. It's going to be there all day long. And this moon is, with coming in the conjunct with Jupiter, the divine is saying, hey, surrender. Give it to me. I'll carry your burdens. Emotionally, there's something that has to be given up. Lessons learned here. Because usually when Jupiter is kind of retrograde, it's like you have to learn some lessons here in order to expand and grow. And I just don't feel like there's lessons being learned here. And the divine is trying its best to get us, or all of us, or you, this is in your areas of your fourth house, your ninth house, and 11th house. Your home, to humanity or to community or whatever it may be, to your beliefs, philosophies, or whatever. There's something here is, or faith in something. It's like it's been rocked. It's been rocked. Because I used to have a old saying, because I don't have my Maya or there's two asteroids that have stayed in Libra for a long time. One was the eruptor, Mackie, I think it was the eruptor, and then Haumea was the one that then you see the damage, the destruction, that whatever the explosion was, like in a volcanic eruption or an earthquake or something, there with Haumea, you saw what the destruction caused, the divide, the split, or the burning up of something here. And Uranus always made kind of the joke that Uranus, those two asteroids were like the so much more powerful than Uranus. Uranus is a sudden thing that happens. Think about it like the volcano that's going on in Iceland. They don't know when it's going to erupt. They keep saying it's going to erupt. There's some flow under the ground and all this. They anticipate it doing something. So that would be more or less your Mackie and Haumea. Something's going to happen here, and you're going to see the devastation from it. But you just don't know when, because those two are like the atomic strength of something that just happens. But with Uranus, it's a swift, sudden change, and it's like with the finger of God, is like warning you something here, that something is going to erupt, and when it erupts, it's going to be really, really strong. Next thing we have is Mars, that's going to finish this day up, because this energy is going to go on for the rest of the day. And we're looking again at Neptune, which is at 24 degrees, 55. It's stationary because it's getting ready to go stationary, because it's going to come out of retrograde next month. I think it's the first part of the month it will come out. I believe it's the 4th of December. The 4th or the 5th, somewhere along in there. It's gonna go direct, and it'll start moving forward and come out of that retrograde. So right now it's just having to reassess past actions, where there might have been dreams and goals and visions and things you had that now are changing. Could be affecting something with income, because quincunxes are not easy things to deal with, and you've got to have the courage to make some sort of decision here. Or it could have been, now you've got to make a decision about your past actions. Maybe where money was spent, maybe where money was just, I would say, go down the drain. Or a loss of value in some way here. But we do have the moon at the end of this day in conjunct, still having that energy with Jupiter. And Jupiter's kind of our protector as well. Um, it kind of deflects anything past Jupiter. Um, it kind of takes the hit, more or less, of the aspects from what's coming from Saturn all the way to Pluto, or anything that's out there that we have to deal with. Um, it's like a savior. I call it the Christ-like planet. Um, and when we're following in our faith and our belief, then yes, many times it's all in Scripture about the rewards we reap by what we sow, by our past actions. So, like I said, it's a short day, but we're still dealing with the yod. It's mostly the same thing all day long. And it's time to. I would say for myself, I just when it's like this, I just kind of go within. I'm not really one to put myself out there and really knowing that I don't like what the energies look like. Okay, I told you the 26th is going to be a really rough day. We're talking about from 2 in the morning, quarter after 2, 2:18 in the morning. The moon still being in Taurus here, and now it is conjunct with Uranus. So there could be something here. Maybe some sleep disruption, I will say that. Because this moon is exalted and your feelings are kind of heightened because we're fixing to go into this full moon the very next day. So this day is the energy is like off the chain. Most of the morning from 2 in the morning or quarter after 2 till a quarter to 11, there's going to be this energy of that is going on, where the moon here is connected here with the quincunx. These two energies combined going to Venus. And we're going to see something here today that is going to be really, really, like I said, it's not going to be an easy day. We're talking about on a Saturday. This would be like going out and partying on a Friday night and having a hangover the whole next day. That's not good, and you don't feel good, and it's like, why did I do that? But we got the moon that is, like I said, squaring up with Uranus here, and got to make some decisions. This is air and earth; they don't mix. There could be a sudden with the air is like it's a sudden change of direction. And maybe this is a good thing, but there's opposition, with still something being unhealthy toward Venus. Maybe some unhealthy communication. Because the third house is about communication. It's about intellect. It's about the mind, the ability to think. It could be about neighbors or information you're receiving. It could be something dealing with transportation, communications, maybe some debates here. There could be some discussions that, could get kind of heated, so you need to watch out. Be about the intellect, learning. Like I said, to me, there's something here that's not very healthy. When I see Chiron sitting there and it's in retrograde, something has been unhealthy. And we need to look at those things. And that's why I always say with retrogrades, go back to the time, a certain time, period of time, when everything was going direct, from its last retrograde, because retrogrades give us the opportunity to evaluate what was happening in the past to what was going on, that somebody maybe wasn't living in reality here. They were living in just aggression and passion and whatever else they were doing, you know, in their communications or whatever. It was in their theories, their philosophies, their mindset. Um, that just to me was not in a good place. I'm sorry, I can't. I'm feeling that real strong. And now with this energy here, it's like, when are you going to wake up? When are you going to wake up and see something here that is not right? What is it going to take? Because we have this energy of the sun in a quincunx with Vesta. And now Vesta, what is Vesta? Vesta is the keeper of the spiritual flame. It's where it represents the sacred, feminine, creative energy that allows you to dedicate yourself to your aspirations, your plans, and your goals. And Vista shows where you have a spiritual devotion to a cause, a project, a person, or a belief that is sacred to you. And right now it's in retrograde. So what is sacred to you now? I mean, again, I go back to where is the focus? Is there a focus? Is there something here? Because definitely we have the sextile coming off of that over to Jupiter. Are you devoted to your family? Are you devoted to your home? Do you want to protect that? Because both of these are retrograde. This is retrospect, looking back in an objective way, awareness, and bringing something out by illuminating where there's frustration, or bringing something out that needs to be seen. Because something here again with Neptune, I'm telling you, there's divine is really working on all of us to say, we got to look at the past. And we got to do some healing here. I know I've been going through it for 3 years, but because of other circumstances that I had no choice. When somebody takes your choices away from you and just leaves you out there to figure it out for yourself, that's a hard pill to swallow, because you don't know what the hell just happened. It's like a tornado came and just destroyed everything. And then where do I pick up and go? Is what you're kind of like in this sort of thing. So did I went through a lot of healing stuff to get myself back secure, stable, but I've had some other things with my mother. She's in bad health, and so I'm having to deal with that. And we got to do what we got to do, and that's just the way it is. We also going to have, like with Venus here again, that quincunx. This would be about 10 minutes to 11 in the morning. Like I said, you start the day off with a lot of emotion here, from 2:15 to 2:45 to 11. But then look what happens. I mean, man, it's like whammy time. We've got the yoga going on here. Again, with the moon, everything's centralized. These two energies, the south node, Mercury, in a sextile to the south node, with the quincunx to the moon, what you feel, what you think, communication. Also with Mercury to the moon here. I mean, it's all going into what we feel, to what is being felt. That has to do with the past, sorting things out, thinking about it, working through it, trying to adapt to something here. And then we throw another Yod in there, which happens to deal with the moon. It's like, who's throwing blame on something somewhere else? It's like, oh, I can't get my, I can't focus on my goals and my aspirations and my plans or anything like that, because now all of it's been screwed up because of what happened in the past, and it's left me out here. Quit playing victim, because remember, I'm gonna go back here just a minute. You see where this energy was connected? The moon was connected over here. Now look. I'm sorry, wrong one. Now it's disconnect. Well, shoot, forgot which one I was on. Yeah, there we go. So it was connected. Let's see, one, two. All right, let's see if this one was it. Want to bring that one back up for a minute? Yep. See, it's connected there. The moon over to Neptune. Now all of a sudden, later on in the day, who's playing victim here? I mean, I want to go back here a minute to this one. Like I said, we had, now we got a T-square where there's the moon, the sun in opposition to the moon, and square to Saturn and square to Saturn. Something wants to get moving here. There's limits, there's restrictions, there's no limits to what you can do. And being focused on what you feel, knowing nothing's happening. Then we have another T-square. It's the moon to Mars. These two energies combine together. Both of it to Saturn again. Sun, they're not together, so they can't actually form one big T-square, grand T-square. But it's really all of this energy right here in opposition to what we feel, because somebody feels like, I feel like somebody's playing victim here. Well, I can't do this, or I can't do that, or come on. It's because you got to get that spiritual flame lit. You got to reassess, what now do I want to focus on? What is it that I am, that's so sacred to me, and I want to dedicate myself to, and to aspire to my aspirations, my plans, my goals. I mean, I've been doing that for quite a while, looking at, the prospects here, there, and there. And I had, set different goals. Well, this, that, and the other, at least 3 different goals I had going on at the same time. And seeing which one would be the better way to go. I don't limit myself to this one little boxed area. I got to look at everything that's going on, and then I got to say, okay, this happens, and then I go this way. This happens, I got to go that way. And it's keeping the dedication alive, a devotion to something here, and the focus. Then the last thing we have here is we have a trapezoid. Oops. Sorry about that. Where we have the opposition of Mars, or the sun to the moon as well, because it still has that conjunction energy with Mars to the moon, to what we feel. Want to take some sort of action here. We have a sextile over to Neptune about goals, aspirations, something here that we spiritually want to dedicate or devote ourselves to, trying to get the flame lit. We got 24 here, 5 here. really wanting to go forward, what you feel, but there's an opposition here. Then we also have um with oh my gosh, my nose is itching like crazy. Uh Neptune in a sextile to Pluto. You know, these are connecting, and then the sextile to Mars from Pluto. I mean, it's like a basket, you know, but there's this trying from the moon over to, it's like you need to make a change. Something here's got to change. You've got to have the courage to make a change, a transformation, a change within that karma. Quit creating your own worst nightmare. Quit being a victim. I mean, I've seen so many people playing victims of their own making, and they don't want to wake up and realize they're doing it to themselves. It's easier to blame some situation or blame someone else than take on the responsibility. Still, we got the T square here, T square there. Just like I showed you earlier, this is not going to be a good day on the 26th. It's not. Because they're still there, both of them. And the moon now has entered into Gemini, where it is setting up for the full moon. That's why it's so intense, the energy. Things have got to change. And still, again, all day long, even till the evening, it goes on. I mean, this goes on to after 11 o'clock until somebody says, to hell with it, I'm going to bed or something. I don't know. But it's troubling. It really is. And I'm pretty sure we probably had a yod there between these two, between Uranus and Neptune earlier. I probably just didn't see it or catch it. Well, you can't really have a yod until they're really connected, but they are feeding off of one another. And it will go into a yod. And then on the 27th, there's that short glimpse of where we'll do a glimpse here, but it will be Monday. And look what's there first thing at 4:17 in the morning when these are in opposition, and there is the full moon, and it is on a Monday. This full moon, well, it's actually on a Sunday, the sun, because it's after midnight. So, and it's dealing with Jupiter. I mean, T square's still there. I mean, these T squares are very difficult energies. That means they're challenges and oppositions. And what it is something, whatever's challenging you or what is an obstacle in your way. It's up to you how you're going to handle this. You can sit and play the victim all you want and think it's going to get you somewhere, but it won't. But it's how you handle those squares shows what you're made of on the inside. Are you going to pull yourself up by your bootstraps and say, okay, I'm going to consciously be aware of what I have done and take responsibility for whatever and look at it from an objective point of view? Sometimes we have to step outside of ourselves and look at ourselves from a distance and say, okay, I take responsibility for this. I did this, I did that, and I'm aware that I've done that now. And it's there you're showing consciousness that you're facing something, a relationship with enlightenment where you're bringing it to the attention, or is something that's frustrating you because you can't figure it out. So which is it? You're going to still play the victim, or you're going to say, okay, I'm going to step back. I'm going to take responsibility of my part in something here and I'm going to make it right. You know, it all deals with, what we're going to do. So anyway, that's what I got for y'all. Like I said, when it comes to, after the 25th, it's going to get kind of tough. I'd say the 24th is kind of just the set up in that direction. And then the 25th, we can kind of, just mows through the day. I would just kind of just take it easy on that day. And then the 26th is going to be really, really a tough day. Okay? It's like if you look at it, it's like two negatives or two magnets that just can't come together. It's a resistant force. You go 13, 13. What does that make? 26. So they just kind of just bumping heads, and it's rubbing against each other and not really going anywhere. So, you're going to have to look at something here and really face it. As difficult as it may be, but you know what? It's a valuable lesson you will learn, and you will be thankful that you learned it. Y'all take care, and I will see y'all later. Bye for now.